belly is full after lunch? Oh, everyone's waving. Good, good. Did you have a good breakout session as well? They're good. You just want to clone yourself into 3 and go to everyone because every topic is really good to get to. But thank you so much. Today is all about Common Futures Forum. We've got some really, really amazing special guests to be sitting down and having conversations with. So you are in the right place when we're talking all things young people and engaging with politics. So, are you ready for your next special guest speaker? I'm ready, man. I'm ready. So, your welcome is, this conversation is to discuss the importance of leadership. Any leaders in the building today? Okay, this one's for you guys. In achieving change on a global scale, drawing on our experience working with the United Nations, can I get a ooh? United Nations in the building. As a Sustainable Development Goals Ambassador, we want to explore how close we are globally to achieving these goals. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Tatiana Gregor.
Hello, thanks. Hello, well, now I'm nervous. How are you guys?
Good.
Looking amazing. Thank you so much, Matt and CFF, for inviting me. It's such a pleasure. Well, I would like to introduce myself a little bit and actually explain how I got here, and then I'm happy to answer your questions. So let's start. So years ago, I was just a little girl with a lot of dreams, and I'm from countryside, from really small town in small country. And today I'm really, really happy that I can say that I'm living actually my dream. However, it wasn't always easy, and it actually never is. After winning Miss World, yeah, that's me, horrible, right? At age 18, I had to grow up over the night. I had opportunities since then to meet world leaders, world representatives, and also my childhood heroes. With every step outside of my comfort zone, I became more and more confident. You may think that when you win Miss World, you're naturally confident. Well, I gotta tell you, I had to talk to myself that over the years, even after winning Miss World. When I was on my Miss World mission in 2006 until 2007, I traveled the world. I cooperated with many charitable organizations internationally, and also with grassroots organizations. I was successfully fulfilling Miss World mission called Beauty with a Purpose. In just my year, we fundraised $1 million to the charitable causes. But one of the strongest moments I can remember were always the times when I could spend these times with people in need. We were helping, actually, mostly kids or sick or disabled people. And thanks to that experience, I became extremely socially aware in a very young age. And I also realized how amazing it is to use your voice, your power, your popularity for making a good. To become a public person, it is obviously a huge responsibility, so I wanted to bring light and attention to places that might not have it. And I take it also today as my personal commitment. So, it has been over 11 years ago when I established our foundation, Beauty of Help. It was right after my Miss World, my official Miss World agenda ended. I was still very young, just 20 years old, very empathetic, passionate, also starting my successful international modeling career. And even then, I remember I was facing so many prejudices as woman, as model, as Miss World. You know, I felt like I had to prove to everybody that I actually mean it seriously. For many, I was world beauty queen, you know, like almost untouchable, not real. But this is exactly where they went wrong. And I realized that as long as you live for other people's opinion, you're never going to be happy. You're going to be just afraid. And if you start believing yourself, world will believe in you, and the whole universe will support that. So you need to have that damn courage to make that certain mindset. My past 11 years of our nonprofit work has been incredible and taught me a lot. I am still the only Miss World and only public personality from Czech Republic who actually devoted life of supporting and empowering elderly persons. I had to even find courage to fight for this topic because many people said, well, nobody's going to trust you, you're too young, you don't know anything about it, it's going to be hard to fundraise money for this topic, or it's not going to be easy, it's not sexy, it's not attractive. I was like, those are not the reasons why you're starting NGO, right? So it kind of motivated me and pushed me forward. It wasn't just usual or common that young public person decides supports elderly at that time. Well, today, 11 years after, is our foundation one of the most established foundations and the most respected foundations for elderly in the Czech Republic. We helped thousands of older persons to live better quality life in their homes, because what we support and finance is home care services, daycare, home care. We also run our own project at home without worries, and we finance over 14 home care projects across our country. And we also became part of Help Age International. We are very proud of that, very much. Well, in 2015, I participated in 53rd session of the Commission of Social Development at the United Nations. I presented there our work and also activities, and I spoke about positive aging plan. It was for the first time ever when NGO from the Czech Republic had this privilege to talk about empowering and supporting elderly and pointed out demographic challenges at the UN. Later the same year, I attended a meeting of working group of United Nations Economic Commission for Europe to Aging. I represented there once again Czech NGO sector and shared our experience with home care services for older people. And that was just the beginning. In summer 2017, the Czech Republic took part in National Volunteer Review of Implementation of Sustainable Development Goals. The government of the Czech Republic asked me and our foundation to participate and to present the NGO sector during the presentation on high-level political forum on sustainable development. And I talked about the importance of cooperation across the sectors. Why is that? Because the Sustainable Development Goals are a collection of 17 global goals set by United Nations. The broad goals are interrelated through each and has its own targets to achieve. The SDGs cover a broad range of social and economic development issues. These include poverty, hunger, health, education, climate change, gender equality, water, sanitation, energy, urbanization, environment, and social justice. Our Beauty of Health Foundation covers 3 from these 17 goals. It's exactly good health and well-being for people, gender equality, and reduced inequalities. And because it is essential principle of democratic countries to give equal opportunities to everyone and don't leave anyone behind. And there is one particular topic I would like to talk about. In every part of the world, women and girls still suffer from discrimination and violence, and this is unacceptable. Equality is fundamental human right, but also essential foundation of prosperous society. According to the World Economic Forum, we have to wait next 208 years to actually reach equality. This is insane. Women make up more than half of this planet. If we want to maximize human potential, it is not possible to leave half of the people in the world aside. There is no single country right now where women earn more than men. Why I'm saying that? Because, for example, Czech Republic has the second worst pay gap in European Union. Behind us is just Estonia, actually. And this is horrible. So women want and they deserve the same conditions like men, and we must not limit half of the world. We can be the first generation in human history to end extreme poverty and famine. We can be the first generation that can save our planet from the fatal consequences of climate change. And as Gina talked about that, these challenges they don't have borders. They don't have borders, it's global thing. Well, so since 2017, I have become SDGs ambassador, and I try to promote this concept in the Czech Republic and also internationally. And I try to explain people and companies how important it is to have a global plan for a better world. And also that we need everybody on board. Every one of us should take part in fulfilling the SDGs, because we all should be interested. It's not just depending on our political elite. Of course they can do a lot, but if the private sector companies, media, public won't take part, nothing is going to happen. Everybody has its own power of influence. Everybody can influence or inspire other people every day, even though you may not realize it. And don't forget that you need to be the change you actually want to see in the world. Do what you believe in. Do it no matter what others say. It is important that you live according to your values. Doesn't matter if you change the smallest part of the world around you. It is still worth it. I mean, you don't have to become SDGs ambassador, you don't have to become Miss World, but you can, I'm sure you can. But it maybe means that you help an older person entering the bus, or that you will pick up a trash while you're taking a run in the park. Maybe it means that you're going to start support sustainable fashion. Maybe it means that you're going to consciously use amount of water while you're taking a shower, or that you don't have to eat steak every day. It's just up to you. All these little small changes made consciously can make huge impact and a huge difference. So we need you, all of you. Yeah. Be the change you want to see in the world, okay? And just look at this girl, so brave, Greta. Is there anybody who never heard about this 16 years old Swedish? I mean, look at her. She just met Obama and Leonardo DiCaprio. It's insane. And she didn't know if she will be one day talking to world leaders and they're actually listening to her, what she's saying. Isn't it amazing? So she didn't care if somebody is willing to join her. She couldn't know that she will have such an impact. And she took a risk. So don't be afraid. Take risks. It's better to look back one day and say, well, at least I have tried, right? So don't let your fear decide your future. Thank you for your attention. Thank you. Thank you.
Wow, there's so much to unpack there. Oh, where do I begin? Okay, we've got 17 minutes on the clock. I'm just really struck by your beginning into Miss World and the beauty industry, and yet you are now someone who stands for things that are beautiful. The SDGs, I mean, these goals and achieving them and what you represent and what you've done already has far surpassed what the standards of beauty are. Those things in leadership are really, really beautiful. So,
thank you. Well,
thank you.
I never really felt beautiful or that beautiful, so I'm trying to really use what I've got, because I was so fortunate and so lucky. And I'm trying to transform it for something I can be proud of.
Yeah.
So that's why.
Yeah. Well, these conversations are all about personal stories. So I need to know, what were you like as a little girl? And has any of those qualities that you had then still remained as the leader that you are today?
Well, I was quite wild, I have to say. More boyish than girlish. You know, I was running around on my bicycle. I had a lot of friends. I was kind of bossy always, yeah, I have to say. But Yeah, thank you for this question, because the reason why I actually support elderly, I was raised, I have my parents and I love them, but I was pretty much raised also very strongly by my grandparents. Because my father and mom, they separated when I was 2.5, they got divorced. And my grandparents were the stable family for me for a long time.
Yeah.
So I had extremely amazing connection with them. I just lost them this year and last year, so it's, and they really taught me a lot. Because of them, I am who I am today, and I'm so thankful and grateful, and yeah, they were a huge part of my life, and actually a big part of what I'm doing today for elderly back in Czech Republic.
Yeah, wow, wow. I hope that's a running theme for people to pick up on today, that a lot of our background or where we've come from or our beginning points end up being the through line for where we see ourselves.
So important.
It's so important.
Yeah.
And for yourself and leadership, what would you say are some of the key skills that as a leader everyone needs to have?
Well, always remember where you come from. I always, doesn't matter where I was traveling all over, I still am. I love to come back, and I love to take care of environments and to give back to environment I'm living in, actually. And then I think dignity, everybody deserves that. Doesn't matter if you're 20 or 85. I mean, and I love my family, and this is how I was raised, how I grew up. That we always took care of our aging parents, grandparents, great-grandparents even. So this is something you have to spread around. So get your values straight and live by them. And if you want to start NGO, get your long-term intention, long-term plan. Surround yourself with people who can teach you, who are better than you, and who can help you to make your plans and dreams possible. That's also important. Yeah.
That's a tweet. Get your values straight. Hashtag. That is so important. So important. And you mentioned about taking risks. So how much of leadership is down to taking risks?
I think everything is about that, because if I would never wanted to be a model or whatever, Miss World, I would never probably got such an experience, which I got when I was 18, just 18, which was incredible. That was the best school for me at the time. And that influenced me so much. I got it under my skin that I couldn't quit. I was like, I have to continue. I love it. And I found myself in that. And my mom, she was also a huge part of that, because she's a nurse, and she kind of brought me to this kind of NGO thing. So I was, during my reign, I knew that I cannot quit. I cannot give up what I've got. So I'm trying to make most of it.
Yeah, take risks. I like that. SDGs, I'm learning, Sustainable Development Goals, and there's a lot of them, and they're pretty big.
Yes.
Pretty big.
Large.
I wonder if that slide actually could pop up on the screen again, just because it's so good to know all the different goals, and people will naturally gear themselves towards one more than the other, but they're all important. What's it like to fight for those goals, and how important is it to achieve them?
It is extremely important, and I think we all should really cooperate. It's social responsibility of our world. Everybody has to be part of this. And as I said, from every little personal change, I think it's a personal commitment more than anything. Of course, the companies have to be part of that. It's not today. It shouldn't be just about making a profit. It's also about giving back to the place you love, or environment you're living in. But all of us have to be part of this. So find what is close to you. Any of these goals, I mean, they're beautiful. They're really interesting. I gotta say, when I was studying that, I was like, there's so many, and they're all connected. So I'm sure you're gonna find yourself in that. So just find your goal, and find maybe NGO you would like to support financially, or you can volunteer. You can do whatever you want. Just do it now. We need your hand. We need your action. It's really for better world. It's for next generations. It's actually commitment for next generation. So I'm sure we all have this will and faith to make this world better, or at least to save it as we know it now, right?
Yeah, definitely. I want to switch the conversation slightly to influencers. We know that influencers is a huge conversation at the moment, especially across social media, but first of all, what does influence mean to you?
Well, it's, as I said, responsibility. And then it's a freedom. It's a freedom of everything you want to say, you can express or you can write. It's in your hand, and it's amazing if hundreds of people, hundreds of thousands of people are actually writing you back or listening what you say. So you have to be very conscious about this and use it right, use it well.
Yeah. And you make that great point, and Gina did as well, and loads of people in the lab sessions about using your platform. And as someone who is influencing on a global scale, what is that like? Is that pressure? I mean, what does, when you go into those meetings, you know...
Of course. I mean, I remember the first time I was at the UN and I was shaking, and I'm always a little bit nervous. It's like, I like that adrenaline, but I was really, you really feel important there, okay? But then if I see those women in grassroots organizations who are helping these elderly, our clients, and they're helping them every day for really low money, such a hard work, and that's a pressure. That's like the values sometimes, you know, that's even more sometimes than sitting at the UN and talk to them. So, I mean, it's amazing, and it's amazing opportunity also for our foundation, and I'm so happy and proud to be part of such a thing as the United Nations. But at the same time, we're never going to lose the contact with real life and real people we are helping. So I think it's good to keep both ways, both sides.
And I love what you said there, you know, you can go into a big room, can't you, of the world leaders, but actually the groundwork or the craft or the process starts way before that. And so let that encourage you guys, whatever you're doing now, by the time you may even be in the big rooms, but don't forsake the small lessons that you may be learning along the way.
Absolutely.
And for people in the audience to think, oh my gosh, what you've done and what you've achieved, that's big, and I want to be a leader, but I'm nervous. What starter pack or things that you could give to someone to say, this is how you become a good leader?
Definitely, and even like my life and how I got here, it was a journey, and it took many years, you know, so, and if it's not going to grow global for you, it doesn't matter. If you would change smallest piece of world around you, it's worth it, it's meaningful, and it's amazing, and this is what it's all about.
Yeah. And you must be around people with different leadership styles. And given that the conversation is around politics today, loads of different leadership styles will come into play. But for you, what leadership style works?
Lead by your example, like be positive leader, you know, make like your life should be your unique piece, and it's just your work, and like do as much as you can to make it unforgettable and make a positive mark here in this world.
And on that subject, what is the challenge that you face most as a woman?
Well, sometimes prejudices, yes, still.
Yeah.
You know,
in what sense though? What are people still prejudiced about?
Well, people who don't know me personally, they can be like, well, foundation, NGO. I don't know how, I'm sure you guys face a lot of respect in UK, but in Czech Republic, NGOs are really talked down a lot. I don't know, it just became a trend lately that NGOs are not necessary, or they use too much money and blah, blah, blah. So we have a lot of discussions in Czech, in my home country at the moment about this. And yes, and being a woman, always when I'm there and it's mainly men, it's really funny, because they're like, oh, what this girl is gonna tell me or tell us, you know, what this model is gonna, or Miss World is gonna tell me about this. I know quite a lot about it actually, you know, so sometimes it's really funny, but yeah, I think we have to keep the good fight. That's all we can do.
And given that it's a personal account, this conversation, what similarities are there between the world of beauty and then the world of, you know, United Nations and global conversations? Are there any similarities?
Oh, you know what? Yeah, I think, well, Miss World motto is really beauty with the purpose, and I love that. I actually got inspired by the name. That's why our foundation is called Beauty of Help. And I just really wanted to start my own mission and support what is close to my heart. And then this opportunities at the United Nations, it's amazing, because I'm not the only one. For example, Priyanka Chopra or Aishwarya Rai. I think they're goodwill ambassadors, and they used to work for UNICEF, or maybe even they have their own NGO. They support kids and this and that. So they were also huge inspiration for me personally. Back in the days when I was starting, I was like, yeah, one day I would love to be like them, or I would love to have such an impact like them. So yeah, it's amazing that we have colleagues like that, and that we are part of Miss World family. But it was just the beginning, I have to say. You know, it can open the door, but then it's up to you, up to your work, up to your energy and your will. How are you going to build up yourself, and where you're going to get? You know, so I'm proud of that.
Yeah, and I think as well you'd say, you know, you wouldn't change that about your story. That's a key component of your story. So there's no changing, because then maybe the woman you are today, the way that things unfold, it wouldn't be the same. I'm sure in the room today there are loads of people who want to change the world, and that is a huge task, one that comes with beauty, but one that also comes with a lot of pressure. So maybe could you give us 2 top tips on 2 particular leadership skills, maybe listening or communicating, but what advice would you give?
I don't want to repeat myself. It's really positive leadership, and I think it comes with you shouldn't care what people say. You know, many people talk me down. You just don't listen to them. Okay, keep doing the good thing, good fight. Keep doing the good fight, and then surround yourself with people who helps you with your targets and with your plans and visions, and who will see potential in you. I was lucky to meet a lot of people like that who really helped me also, because they saw it in me. So, and learn from people who are better than you. Don't be afraid to take risks, and don't forget where you come from. That's it.
Yeah, amazing. Given that, your background's in beauty, there is so much beauty in all that you're doing now. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
Amazing.
Thanks.
All the time, Tatiana, Gregor.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I get 2.